Hello, what's up, everybody? It's good to see the chat's already active. I see a lot of comments already. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be talking about the Sascha Riley thing. That's a crazy story. I've been starting to dig into it. First, I'm going to cover some of the ICE stuff, and then I'm going to get into what I know about that. And there's like at least 3 or 4 hours of audio from him, and I think tomorrow I'm gonna try to go through all of it on like 2x speed or something like that. Maybe I'll slow it down a little bit if the chat is saying it's not legible. But I listen. They talk pretty slow, so it's not that bad. But yeah, it's a wild story. He says basically everything from they were getting rid of puppies to they were making children fight each other and stuff, and that he was one of these children that had to do this. And he implicated Trump, Epstein, and a couple of other politicians. And he talked to this. I don't know. I don't think she's a journalist. I'm not sure what her deal is, but she has hours of tapes of this guy. So that's definitely going to be something that is probably going to be a multi-day thing for us to check out. Um, I also saw this today. Let me share. Um, Trump, I guess, went to the Ford factory and was doing some kind of walkthrough or something, probably because he's being bribed by the people who are running the place. And one of the employees shouted out that he was a pedo protector, and he heard it. And you could, like, there was a video where you could definitely hear it, and you could see him turn and look at the guy and like flip him off and say, fuck you. And then you could see the guy's manager like looked and point down at him. So I'm sure that that guy's probably going to get fired, but hopefully everybody makes him like a millionaire on GoFundMe. Let's see. That's legendary stuff right there. I'm sure by tomorrow there's going to be a story that he got fired and that there's a GoFundMe set up for him. Uh, yeah, but pretty wild one. But yeah, the situation in Minneapolis is getting out of control, and because of the videos that have started to escape to the public, they're spending $8 million for pro ICE influencers to push its propaganda online. And this is a part of $100 million budget that they have for their recruitment strategy, or specifically for influencers. Um, yeah, the document calls for spending at least $8 million on deals with online influencers whose followers are largely Gen Z and millennials who are in the military families, fitness, and tactical lifestyle enthusiast communities. Officials will focus on former agents, veterans, and pro ICE creators who will be expected to host live streams, attend events, and post short and long form videos. So, like, this is what they're accusing the protesters of, being paid and everything like that. But it is definitely, it's getting really bad. And it just, the situations that I'm seeing are insane. Like, look at how incompetent they are, even on a management level of being a police officer. Because as much as I, have my beef with cops, when they pull somebody over, like, and maybe arrest somebody, it doesn't, the traffic jam is not this bad. So this says troopers have been dispatched to southbound I-94 610 after ICE agents reportedly arrested a driver and left their vehicle unoccupied in the median. A MDOT traffic camera captured 4 unmarked vehicles pulled over and officers taking the driver into custody. They continue southbound. So this is just one of many situations where they bust the window, they leave the keys in the car, and then they park it. So somebody could just come in and just jack the cars. I'm sure that's happening all over the city. And also, there was at least one time where they forgot to put it in park, and they just left it in drive, so it kept on rolling down the street, and it was in a protest area. So that's why I'm kind of suspicious on the idea that they forgot. So there's that. Then there's the fact that there's a chance that they're stealing things from people and then reselling them. So ICE agents choked a 16-year-old when they arrested him alongside his undocumented father. He filmed much of it, but ICE didn't give his phone back when he was released. He later found it in a vending machine for used electronics, suggesting an agent stole it and sold it for cash. So this is a story from ProPublica that that got into this, and apparently he was pretty banged up too. A lot of people were really hurt. That girl with the green hair that we watched get choked out yesterday, I'm not sure exactly what she was doing. She was probably being a legal observer, similar to the woman that was shot. So Rachel Good, I was forgetting the first name for a minute. Yeah, so her hand is broken, wrist is broken, something like that, and then the other person from that car is still in jail. I think he probably tracked it down with a track your phone, Find My Phone location app, and that's how he tracked it to a vending machine. That's insane. Like, this is total thug shit. And the surveillance angle is, I got a lot of stories on the surveillance angle, because this is stuff that even if you don't care about people who are getting caught up in this, which you should, because it's everybody regardless, and you should care about the people around you, but it's going to impact the society as a whole with this surveillance state. It's going to ratchet up the surveillance state more than ever before. And I really think that they're building some kind of database with the way that they're insisting on getting everybody's picture and shit.
Digital line around your neighborhood and see the location of every phone inside it. ICE can now draw a digital line around your neighborhood and see the location of every phone inside it. As thousands of federal agents deployed to cities like Minneapolis, an exclusive report from 404 Media reveals the surveillance tool they're using to hunt people down. It's called Weblock. Here's how it works. An agent draws a shape on a digital map, a city block, a workplace, or a protest site. The system instantly pulls up the history of every mobile phone that's been inside that shape. It shows where you sleep, where you work, and who you spend time with. It creates a pattern of life analysis to predict your next move. They don't need a warrant. They don't need a subpoena. They just buy the data from apps installed on your phone right now. Yesterday, an ICE agent shot and killed a U.S. citizen in Minneapolis during an operation. Today, we know they have the technology to watch the entire city without leaving their desk. ICE can now draw a digital line around your neighborhood and see the location of every phone.
Yeah, so it's just another aspect of this surveillance. And I think we went over like 4 different ways that they are surveilling people, or 4 different types of technologies that they're using to surveil people. This post here, I'm not going to play this whole video because it's just like a press conference kind of deal, but a city and council employee was detained. They're trying to find out where that person is now. There's been lots of situations with people being disappeared. And I also saw this article about corrections officers are being recruited in massive numbers. And you might remember, if you were on stream with us over the weekend, I think maybe Friday night or something, we saw the patches that said corrections officer on a lot of those agents that were battling it out with protesters. And we were wondering what was going on with that. Well, this is it. They're recruiting heavily from prisons, and now these prisons are actually low on employees too, as a result of that. But that kind of makes sense with what we saw over the weekend. And I got a couple videos and a couple of very interesting takes as well. This situation, yeah, she was arrested and held for hours. I think they might have held her in a vehicle. I'm not sure, but that's becoming.
The
Let's see what
alert
she
on
says.
the North Minneapolis Rapid Response Group that there was an abduction happening. So I went right over there and I approached one of the officers I saw there and asked if she was ICE, and she told me to get back, and I didn't get back. And pretty soon they were throwing me on the ground and handcuffing me and putting me in their unmarked truck. It was pretty chaotic. I had just arrived there, so I didn't get to evaluate it fully, but there were other watchers who were asking me what my name was and everything. So I identified myself to them, and then I started yelling help because I was being kidnapped.
Help me! What's your date of birth?
Here you go, ma'am.
It shared that, so just she hadn't done anything. They pulled her down. They said that there was a separate official videographer, apparently with ICE. There was also obviously a citizen videographer who took the video of her being arrested. But just saying that the government could do this, arrest somebody for doing nothing illegal, and throw her down, handcuffing. That video, seeing the video of Sue being handcuffed on the ground, well, that was chilling.
Do you have a timestamp? What time is it right
Yeah,
now?
she didn't look threatening.
6:24 a.m. on the cross street of North 21st Avenue, North Oliver Avenue, North Minneapolis. They detained a woman. I forget her name.
And their families. It was for the people believable that this is happening in our country right now. But really, most of my concern was for the people inside that house.
I think that was the main thing I wanted to catch there. I don't want to play the whole thing because there's a lot to get through. And each of these kind of stories have a different aspect to it of like what they're doing, a different example. This situation is the kind of disappearance factor. And if you look at history, any kind of fascist regime, this is a classic thing, is you move people around and stuff, and you make sure that they're impossible to find. So ICE detains wife of U.S. Navy combat veteran, disappear her somewhere, and her husband can't find her. Today, she went to her final immigration hearing for citizenship. So she had gone through everything right, did all of the things that she was supposed to do, and she was supposed to get her citizenship today. ICE came in masks and handcuffed her, took her phone, and dragged her away, even though she's married to a veteran from the U.S. How can you justify this? This is what this person says. The family believes she may be locked up in a detention center in San Antonio, Texas.
And child care provider. This is her husband. He's a Navy combat veteran.
So I guess that's the update on the wife. Let's say detained by ICE. The most popular question was, who did he vote for? I confirmed today. Oh, why is that? I want to. I mean, it is important, but not really. You know what I mean? In the grand scheme of if the person is alive. This one was messed up. They pulled this disabled woman out of a car, and it was messed up. There were a couple of videos of this, and in the one, she pulls into this area where there's a ton of agents and a ton of protesters. Apparently, she's on her way to a doctor visit, and they're all giving her conflicting commands, just like they did in the last situation. And she's just sitting there, and she's like, "What do I do?" And then they just end up ripping her out of the car in this really, and that was the picture I had on the thumbnail. This is them ripping her out. Like they are treating her like a murderer or something like that. Like she's got a murder charge. And I'm pretty sure she's a citizen, and it shouldn't matter anyway, but still is like, what is the purpose of this?
I'm disabled, so I can go to the doctor up there. That's why
make you feel strong. Yeah, man. This is your duty.
I hope all these people like sue a lot, you know?
Why don't you help that woman? Help that woman.
And the
Why
next
don't you help someone? All you do is hurt. All you do is hurt. She's trying to drive that.
so the rest of it is just them kind of carrying her away and stuff, but I think there's another video that shows what led up to this. Yeah, here it is. He's like trying to get through. Yeah. So that was one of the okay, yeah, here's even earlier. I think this was after they smashed out her window too. And you could see all those cars, like she clearly wasn't involved with the protest or anything like that. She was just kind of caught in the middle of this shit. Now she could have, it kind of looks like she could have dipped there. That's what like a lot of people are saying, but you can see behind that guy's head in the very corner, there's somebody talking to her. So like she obviously does not want to just drive away right now.
Hey, go that way. Hey, back the fuck up. Sidewalk, 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 sidewalk. You can film on the sidewalk. Force is not law. Force is not law. You are not following the law.
So the guy just came out of nowhere as she's talking to them and trying to figure out where she's supposed to go. I mean, it's clear that that's what's happening. The dude just smashes out her passenger window and they're just like, all right, I guess it's go time. And then we saw this part. Yeah, it's extreme. Like, what the hell is happening here? So a quick one where they ran over this kid's bike.
Go! Stop it! What do you want?
Not sure if that's... Yeah, it looks like the original one was unmarked and the other ones were cops. Oh, wait. So that's a cop, not like... But this was from... All right, that was from a couple months ago. The other wild things is like them pulling into random intersections and dropping tear gas. They've done this in multiple intersections where there's like families walking around. I'm gonna kill the sound because it's just a bunch of whistles and shit. It happened here and it happened in another like downtown area that was crazy. Let's see. Then we got Greg Bavino, the guy that we watched take the 16-year-old kid out of the Target and drive around with him for 2 hours with the gang of thugs, is calling people cannon fodder now. And this is around the same time where they I'm not sure which account it was. I think it was the official Homeland Security account, was saying that a woman that had her kid at a protest had a human shield. So that is alarming, to say the least. This was the one that I was looking for. They drove away in a car with a child. I don't know what's going on. I haven't looked video. Let's see.
Get inside this car. They took a U.S. citizen father out and left a toddler in the back seat. Two heavily armed Border Patrol agents got in that car and drove the child and the vehicle away. Homeland Security says that that father had a pistol in the car, threw rocks at law enforcement, yet he was later released, and the child was returned to the family. Lawyers are saying if there was anything to that story, why didn't they take the kid and lock the father up? And Gavin Newsom wrote to me, I am shaking. He's sick. I'm sick. Our country is sick. Look at inside.
That is insane. So they arrested a father, and did he say that he was? I'm not sure if he was documented or not. It doesn't matter to me, but I'm just curious because it makes it even crazier, and that they're being so indiscriminate about this, especially because they lit him out after claiming all of these wild things. And that's something that you'll see in a lot of these situations, is they make these very, very wild accusations, and then they lit somebody out the next day. And they've been arresting a lot of citizens for basically things that they say, which are fighting words. So this is from a new, I guess, rule book or something. And they have the breakdown: what is free speech and what is not free speech. First Amendment protects freedom of religion, speech, press, right to assemble and petition the government. What is not protected is fighting words, incitement, incites imminent violence or lawlessness, threats of imminent violence against an officer. So, like, if somebody says, like, I probably gonna get hit by the algorithm if I actually say it, but like a death threat or something like that. Sure, I haven't seen that happen. I've just seen a lot of people say "fuck you" and then get tackled. And if you can't say "fuck you" to a cop, then what even are we doing here? Like, claiming to have free speech. That should be like the epitome of free speech. So Ken Klippenstein has a very good article out. I've saved it to go through later. Not today probably, because I do want to get to the Sascha Riley story as well. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, this was the one that Ford Fisher took. Definitely follow his account. He's always at all of these things, and he's always way up front with the footage. He's been like that for years. This is downtown area, and you see like people walking with strollers and stuff, I believe. Or you'll see somebody with a kid. I'm not sure if that's one of those one-leg wheelchair things or something. Or no, it's a bike. But yeah, you could see everybody's just like cars everywhere. Not everybody here is a protester. There might be a few protesters somewhere. You kind of hear things going on, but like they just tear gas this whole area for no reason. You see that woman running with the kid? Look at this shit.
They just throw gas and move?
Yeah, and they did that when they were leaving. So that's another one of these tactics that they've been doing. When they're leaving an area as a final fuck you, they throw tear gas in the area. And like, that shit is illegal under the Geneva Convention, first of all, even though this country uses it all the time. It's even in normal, pig protocol, they are at least doing it for some kind of crowd control reason to try to get you out of the area while they stay in the area. There's like kind of a purpose to that, but I don't like the purpose. I don't think they should do it, but it's totally chaotic is what I'm trying to get at. Let's see. Yeah, it's really, but yeah, definitely. I think I might have one or two more. Oh yeah, this was when they got chased out of the town and they just because the guy said fuck you. And they just tossed it on the way out. Now this I haven't listened to yet, but
I'm sorry.
I had a similar theory, so I want to see what she has to say here. It's only a minute long.
I'm sorry, ICE wants to take people from processing sites, aka transit camps, where they will stay for a few weeks before being funneled into one of 7 large-scale warehouses, aka you fill in the blanks if you paid attention in history class. And these large-scale warehouses will be located near major logistics hubs, aka railways. We are not mad enough. For those of you who saw pictures of what happened 80 years ago and have said, why did they let that happen? Or we would never let that happen here. You better get real specific about what that is, because that is the complete dehumanization and subsequent justification of abuse and inhumane treatment because people belong to a group that you've decided don't belong anymore. Industrial warehouses are not designed to house human beings. They are designed to house non-human objects. They lack in ventilation, they lack sanitation, they lack plumbing for thousands of people. Oh, but ICE is heavily modifying them so that humans can live there. And they're even going to have a special part of the camp. Oh, I'm sorry, processing center for families. I wonder where we saw that before.
Yeah. And then there was this one. I don't think there's much in the video, but this was ICE detains U.S. citizen teacher at special education school, deployed tear gas at student drop-off. They broke her window. They pulled her out. They have tear gas around children, witness yells witness. Agent crashed his car into her, which we've seen on multiple occasions. That's what they're doing. They're ramming their car into random people that are brown, I guess. Then blame the teacher for ramming him. No, I was in front of her and you rammed her vehicle, witnesses shouted back. She was turning into school and you rammed in front of her. I am a witness to every moment. Oh, I guess that.
This is a school. This is a school. You are at a school on school property. Every one of you. There are children at school. Arresting a teacher at a school. Yes, Christina, we'll call your mom.
Christina, we'll call your mom.
This has all been documented, Christina.
Not just going after brown people now, white people.
They hate everyone.
That's I guess it wasn't because she was brown. I'm not sure what led up to this, but obviously some random teacher.
This is ICE. They hate everyone. They hate freedom. They broke her window. They pulled her out of her car. They have tear gas around children.
That's because she rammed my vehicle. No, I was right in front of her. Here. You rammed her vehicle.
You rammed her vehicle. It's all documented. The record will show you are domestic terrorists.
She was turning into school and you rammed in front of her.
I will witness this. I will witness every moment of this.
Thought she was brown, but she's white.
This shit is wild, man.
Why is she being detained? Nope. I have it on video on my dash cam. You guys rammed her.
Can you upload it? Can you
Well, that's good news. This just came out a couple hours ago, so hopefully that dash cam will come out soon.
upload it? I will hold your phone if you upload it now before it gets deleted. They have ways of deleting things.
It's like saved to a server.
Okay. It's documented and uploaded.
Yeah.
Get it uploaded as soon as possible. These people are going to come.
Oh, you're a shrug? Fuck you, dude.
That's because he knows he's wrong.
He hates America.
Where is Christina? Where is she?
She's in the back seat of the black SUV.
Amber, call Dennis. Education Minnesota has resources for this.
I'm pretty sure like hundreds of U.S. citizens have gotten arrested in all this, many of which aren't even protesters. They're just people who looked at them the wrong way, essentially. And then they're getting all paranoid about people following them too.
These are outside agitators, not from Minnesota. They're here to cause chaos. This is what they want.
Hey, why are you filming us, buddy? All right, fuck you. Now we stop. Now we're loser.
Right. Christina's being taken away.
Nobody, every fucking Minnesota.
Yeah, so that's a wild one. I'm gonna try to pay attention to updates for that. See if anything has been. There is a news article about this. Let's see. There was no. While ICE agents claim that Rank hit their vehicle with her own, she said that based on the damage to her daughter's car, it seemed unlikely. There was no damage to her front bumper. The only damage was to the passenger side door and to the back window where they had broken it. Hinkle had questioned why the ICE agents were at the school, which offers alternative learning services for 9 South Metro public school districts. With it being a level 4 school, I don't understand why they were here. Special education in a highly heated environment. The staff is there not only to teach, but to protect, for federal agents to show up with guns. And this is the article here. Yeah, I mean, if there's only damage on the side of her vehicle, I think that's pretty clear. Well, yeah, that was the ICE stuff I got. Another intense day of the fascist takeover of the U.S. I mean, well, it's been fascist for a while, but I mean, this is. Let's see, where are we looking? Okay, so yeah, now we got to check out this Sascha Riley thing. Let me find the links. Oh yeah, all right. I just had them bookmarked. So this is probably one of the craziest ones that I've seen, and it adds a new element to it. Let's see. Wrong one. All right, let's just go to, is this the Boston Smalls one? Where is it? Here it is. So this has the link to the Substack article, which is probably the best place to start. This Lisa Noel Voldang, I don't know who this person is. People have done some research into her, and there's not much there. But, you know, she did get this interview. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to look into how this interview happened, because that is important. Let's take a look here at the article. Publisher's note. The other thing that I should note is that these were originally published in November, but they're just starting to go around this week. For some reason, I don't know if they were boosted by a big account or what, but it's really started to make the rounds. So let's see what it says. These briefings contain first-hand. Okay, so this is like a trigger warning, I guess. It includes 6 unedited audio recordings. During the years, SR was trafficked within the Trump Epstein ring. He was forced to perform acts during the filming of several child abuse films, including a snuff film. He recalls at least 10 to 12 such films. So, yeah, I'll get to where they surfaced in a minute. During the film shoot, SR saw a girl child shot and ended during the filming. After another film shoot, a girl child was taken to another room. SR recalls hearing gunshots. He said that when he heard the gunshots, he was scared. He said that another perpetrator still in the room with him, seeing his fear, said, "Don't worry, boys are hard to find." The films were produced within the Trump Epstein ring. So these films, according to Sascha Riley, who is the person who is coming forward in this, and he is showing his face, and this is apparently his real name, and he was in the military as a Marine, and he claims that while he was in the military, somebody that he was stationed with got in trouble for having messed up child stuff on his computer. And when the higher ups were, I guess, reviewing the content or something, I'm not sure, they noticed that one of the people in the videos looked a lot like Sascha Riley, who was in their unit. And I guess because of the fact that when you're in the military, you are probably 19, 20 years old tops, and you probably look like you probably look somewhat similar to how you did when you were 11 or so. So that seems plausible. From what I listened to of the audio so far, he seems coherent, despite the fact that his allegations are like they run the whole gamut of things that terrible people can do. You know what I mean? So there's that. But he did seem credible. I think. He also said that the records of this material should be with the Pentagon, because I have heard stories about the Pentagon holding on to stuff like that, and he says that he thinks it's he says that oh, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I was catching up with chat. Yeah, I wasn't saying like that in an assaulting way as not knowing who she was. I like to track down like where these are coming from and where the information is coming from, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's quite wild, the things that he's saying. So let's look at the summary here. The other thing is the element of this being a boy and the fact that he is coming forward and kind of putting his name out there, and the fact that people who are in the military do they tend to have a little bit more credibility in this society anyway. I met Sascha Riley, a decorated Iraq war veteran, during the course of my work. I realized he needed help. I offered to help. So I'd be interested to find out how they met. You know what I mean? That was kind of what my interest was there, because I think that that's important. I first spoke with him by phone and recorded his initial victim testimony during July 9th through 24th. His testimony is a window into the systematic torture and murder and impoverished children under the ages of 13 for profit and sport. Sascha was adopted during 1977 for the purposes of trafficking. Yeah, that's what he said in his interview. And that's what a lot of Epstein victims actually say, not necessarily the adoption part, but the fact that their family was involved, and then you know, uh, so I do think that Epstein probably had some connections. I wonder what happened in that Palm Beach area, that how these creeps surfaced together. Like, why was Virginia Roberts or Giuffre's abusive father working for Trump, who and drove her to Epstein's house for the first time she met him, her father. You know what I mean? Who also abused her and also trafficked her to his friends when she was younger. So that whole, you know what I mean? There's something going on there. I'm sure that they found random people like they did through the recruiters, but also something going on there. Sascha was adopted. Yeah, Sascha got to that. Prior to trafficking within the Trump Epstein ring, Sascha was trafficked to relatives from about the age of 6 years old. WKR worked as a pilot and trafficker for Trump and conspirators within the Trump Epstein and associate criminal enterprises. And that's the other thing about this, is like the details that this guy has are very, very intense, and um this there's very few contradictions in his story. Like, I haven't been able to find any. Um yeah. Of course, like I said, he says that it will be proved either when the Epstein files come out, or if somebody at the Pentagon can confirm the uh, at least the report of where the other person got in trouble for viewing that video that had him in it. It is kind of a weird synchronicity there, for sure, at the very least. WKR hunted victims, trafficked victims, transported clients and victims on airplanes and helicopters. I've never heard of this William Kyle Riley, but it's saying that he was pretty big in this, worked with the Dixie Mafia. Sascha is one of the only trafficking survivors. That is the other thing, is there's a lot of like murder mentioned in here. Yeah, perpetrators Sascha is willing to testify against, include Donald J. Trump, Andy Biggs, Jim Jordan, Lindsey Graham, and Clarence Thomas. Please see audio recordings A through F and part 2, section bullet of case background for more detail. I told Sascha I would publish audio of our conversations. The evidence is ample. Films, videos, CPS reports, FBI reports on WKR, and a military report involving the court-martial of a fellow soldier found with bad child pictures depicting Sascha and one of the murder victims. Wow, if we can confirm that that's a victim and that existed. Much of the evidence has been suppressed. Some is obtainable by FOIA request and by investigator request. Well, they should be obtained if that's the situation. Corroborative evidence supports truthful testimony and truthful. Let's see, what is the. Trying to see what the substance is here. Let's see. So this is Sascha Riley here, I guess, as a child and as an adult. And what was it? AF? And it's the 16. Maybe we could listen to the 16-minute one today, and we could dive into the other ones tomorrow, because I think it was like AF, right? That's the part 2 where they name all these people. Let's see if there's any other info here. Also, I'd like to look into this William Kyle Riley person. It doesn't look like there's any info, like at least on Google, I can't find any information on this person. But I did see, okay, there is a thread that has already existing Epstein files that corroborate Riley's statements. So let's take a look at that. Let's see. I think I might have had that. Yeah, let's jump back here, cuz things that seem to corroborate in the Epstein files that have been released by the DOJ. William Bill Riley is listed as a witness to be called. Wow. Hold up, let's look at this. Scott Rothschild. Let's look for a Riley in here. Now, William Bill Riley. But this says William Kyle Riley. But Bill, oh, okay, Bill is like a nickname for William. All right, that was dumb of me. So that doesn't insinuate that that's his middle name. Coral Springs, Coral Ridge. So he's in the Palm Beach area. Well, no, not Palm Beach. Coral Springs, that's like I think that's closer to Miami. Interesting. So let's see what these other documents are. Riley mentioned an SDNY investigation in relation to another Paul Laverlev that had an arrest record for cocaine possession and solicitation. This doc also shows that Roy Block was one of Riley's clients. I don't know if that says Riley or Riley, or if that's a typo. Justice. Let's see this document. So what's this one supposed to show? It's supposed to show that Roy Black was one of Riley's clients. Leslie also stated that approximately on November 11th, 2005, he was contacted by a private investigator from the law offices of Roy Black. This is what they're talking about. Mr. Riley attended a Miami Rotary meeting and confirmed attorney Roy Black is among his clientele. So Laverly is the name. That was a typo. So I'm looking at also. I also researched the girls using MySpace.com. This website is a new social networking service that allows members to create unique personal profiles online. Wow. I remember those days. So there's a couple more pieces of evidence that tie. I'm just going to bounce back and forth here. In Virginia's testimony, page 19. What's this? It doesn't say. Okay. Oh, so that's what that was from? Let's see if we can get a Riley in here. No. Yeah. Wow. So there's a Bill Riley in Virginia's testimony. I want to say Bill Riley, but he might have been from the FBI. No, it was Bill Riley. Bill Riley. Like a week. I remember I was so scared. Oh, okay. So she wanted to talk to an attorney. Who was it that contacted you? Bill Riley contacted Virginia Giuffre, or somebody named Bill Riley. What do you remember about the conversation? I remember a Mr. Goldberger as well. I remember there may have been two of them. I can't remember which one it was. I want to say Bill Riley is the good one. All right, so either Bill Riley or Mr. Goldberger or both of them contacted you. And what do you remember about that? I don't remember if it was I don't know if it was the same guy who contacted me that week later who put me in touch with Jeffrey. I think he was on the phone and he put speakerphone on with Jeffrey, so he connected me with Jeffrey. I don't know if if it was the same guy or different, but I definitely know that Bill Riley was the first guy to contact me. I'm pretty sure about that. I guess this was people that tried to track her down after she ran away to Australia. So that kind of matches up with what this guy's saying, because he's saying that William Riley was involved with this trafficking ring. And yeah, it would stand to reason that he would be tracking down people who would talk about it, which was essentially what they were worried about with Virginia. So Nadia Marcinkova, in her deposition, she's still like loyal to Epstein, I guess you could say. And she has, let's see. Oh, Roy Black is related to Leon Black. That's what I was thinking. So yeah, Epstein's email wherein he recommends William Riley as a PI for attorney David Schoon, who just so happens to represent Trump in his impeachment trial. As terrible as the system has been to you, I have to tell you one last thing. I'm wondering if I could see it through the preview, but no. So this guy is appearing quite a bit, and from what I understand is that Sascha has been saying this stuff for a long time. Let's see what this is. It says Riley. Oh, okay. So he was deposed for some reason. He was interviewed. Client attorney privilege, irrelevant and not reasonably calculated to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence. That was the objection there, I guess. Work product, the time curry. So there, and in some other, let's see. These are posts that he has made recently. Let me get into some of that. Let's see. This is the Threads account that he recently started. And he's been sharing things recently that he posted back in 2021. So you can see here the date on it. And I looked into the Barros thing. It's Sascha Riley Barros. So I guess Riley, since he was adopted, I'm guessing that Riley is the name of his adopted family that abused him, and now Barros is probably a new name that he has taken on, and that's his you know, that's what I'm assuming. Because when I looked him up, it was like Sascha Riley Barros or Sascha Barros Riley. So he says he went to a farm, and yeah, this is when they did terrible things to puppies after he played with them. Donald Trump did, allegedly. That's what he says. And apparently, according to him, Trump liked to watch people suffer. So let's see what else. I'm not going to read it word for word. Let's see. Yeah, so he just speaks about how they wanted to degrade him and the other people the other children that they were abusing, and that it was like kind of a sadistic form of entertainment for them. He says that he believes he was 5 or 6 at this time. So that's why I'm saying, like, these are very, very, like, serious allegations. And I think that's why nobody's covering it. Because, I mean, it's the most serious shit that you could throw at people, pretty much. It's murder, the R word, you know what I mean? It's puppies. It's very, very, very intense. Let's see. A reminder: she had said that she had tipped off for a long time. Yeah, no, for sure. Varus was his birth name. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got into the. Have you listened to the whole thing yet? Like all 5 of them? I listened to, I think, the first one that was an hour, and then half of the other one. But like I said, I'll go over. I'll listen to them all on stream tomorrow. It's messed up. This guy Anthony Andrews has been digging into it. I'm not sure who he is, but I've been looking into him, or I've been following his posts since the Epstein thing broke out, because he's had very good updates. The described taste was a delicate target. It was twice filmed in Moscow in November 2013. What is this? I'll remind everybody that at the end of this document I posted from Christopher Steele aligns with how depraved Trump continues to be revealed to be. This was the other thing, is he said the William Riley mentioned in the Epstein emails is not the same. Oh, okay. Look at that. That's what I was just wondering. Is not the same William Riley who was the adopted father of Sascha Barros Riley. So yeah, I had bookmarked this before, but I hadn't looked at the files yet, so I didn't have any context for it, and I had totally forgot. Please share before people spend too much time spreading incorrect information. So does that mean it's not the same one from the files? Because this just says the Epstein emails. Let's see if somebody asks him. Just a coincidence that there's a registered PI named William Riley and a Bill Riley who claims in the Epstein files to be a PI. Yeah, see, like there is something to that, I think. I want to know more about who this other Bill Riley is. If that's not the Bill Riley, you got to give me some information there. Let's see. Let's go back to this thing, and we'll listen to the last couple minutes where he names the people, basically. And this is another 16 minutes. Yeah, I could play this. Let's see. Let me know if you could hear it.
Are you okay if I record right now?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Well, you know, what was going on there in Alabama where they got caught with those 10 kids, that's just essentially what I came from, you know, something like that. And as I understand it, 5 of the kids out of the 10 were related to the people running the operation.
The
You
Trump
know, so
Epstein
that-
operation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, you know, in as much as these people are going to go down, they were working for somebody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I totally agree. That's why I said that I would need some information on who he's claiming this other William Riley is, or other Bill Riley is, for me to dismiss the other information. Because yeah, it seems like there's definitely something there. But at the same time, I definitely take in any kind of conflicting information. I like to look at everything just to make the most well-rounded, or get the most well-rounded view of everything.
you know, I'm sure that those people, and they deserve to go to prison and all of that stuff, but they were running this deal and filming their films and doing all the things that they were doing for somebody else. So whoever, I mean, Epstein's not running it anymore. Ghislaine Maxwell's in prison, but I would just about guarantee you that wasn't the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff's still going on, on the blackmail level too, for sure. And I actually think that I may like take a whole block of time to talk about just the blackmail situation. Not because it is Whitney Webb's title for her book, One Nation Under Blackmail, is such a good title because it is so true. And there are so many people in power that are blackmailed, and not just political power, but you know, I've seen some wild shit, and like in the music industry, in among influencers. I was a ghostwriter for an influencer that was publicly blackmailed, and it came out. There was like a New York Times article about it and stuff. I'll probably talk about it when I take that block of time and go over that. And with that whole Charlie Kirk thing, I really think that the forces of around him, there's a high chance that there was something shady going on there, because like with that dude, the people who blackmailed him were like his business partners and stuff. And now they ended up like totally ruining his life. Now I don't know about the assassination. I don't know nothing about that, but yeah. Um I think that he had no friends. Those people around him were not his friends, essentially, at the very least.
So with those, when we were just discussing with the parties, those torture parties with the girls at the brothels, they'd go to the parties, and often they didn't come back from the parties. We summarize again what was going on there.
Well, sometimes they would go to the party and they would be beaten to death or tortured to death at the party by the client. Other times they would go to the party, and depending on.
Now that's wild. He's like straight up saying that they are killing and torturing kids out there, and puppies. Like that is this is why people are having a problem touching it. They're afraid to. I think I'm not, but I just want to say that's why you're not seeing a lot of people, a lot of the usual people who are spreading the Epstein information, is why they're avoiding it.
I know sometimes the status of the person that the girls had been an escort for would be problematic, because they wouldn't want.
Ruined his life in the sense that they stole $25 million from him. They told the world that he was having an affair when he was kind of in the process of, getting a divorce anyway. And then he ended up having a complete mental breakdown and getting arrested because he was suing them. And then he started harassing the judge that was like going over the case, getting his Twitter followers to it was some shit, dude. Yeah, there was a New York Times article about it and stuff, but I'll share more details about it when I talk about it in the context of the other blackmail. But it was pretty crazy. And I actually was credited as his ghostwriter, so like I have proof that I was his ghostwriter.
to leave like a witness. So
You mean
they
like
just,
an individual that was considered high profile?
yes, I couldn't name names on that. I don't know who, but yeah, sometimes they didn't want to leave the girl alive.
So how often, when the girls from the brothels would go to the parties, how often did the girls not come back?
If I had to guess, I'd say like half the time.
Half the time.
Yeah. The parties weren't something that happened all that often, you know, like it'd be around like the federal holidays and stuff like that, Labor Day, or, you know, 4th of July, where you typically would think of as a 4-day weekend.
Yeah.
And, you know, not all of them had parties. Well, I guess all those bigwigs have parties, but, you know, not all of them were those type of parties where they had underage people, I guess. So I don't know how that part was organized.
Yeah. Yeah. So they seem to tie the parties with holiday weekends and things where could be presented sort of like, oh, they were just, it was a,
I'd be interested to look into that Hugh Hefner thing. I've heard that before, and it makes sense. It makes perfect sense that there would be some kind, because even though all of the Playboy bunnies or whatever were of age, there were still blackmail opportunities. If you could catch people in affairs and stuff like that, I'm sure you could use that and hold it over people's heads forever. And I'm sure if people have the ability to do that in those circles, they will take advantage of it, because the people in power, they get there because they're more ruthless than everybody else. That's sadly how this world works.
Labor Day party, or it was like
Right.
Christmas holiday parties, some parties at the locations, but it was always where the parties were then dwindled to 8 or 10 of the more depraved pedophiles. This was when a lot of the more depraved torture and rape and murder occurred, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And I just think that that's an important distinction, because a lot of those people that did go to those parties and might have done some cocaine and might have, you know, had an affair or whatever with an escort, it just doesn't rise to the level of what happened towards the end of them. That's a different, you know, there's an illegality of what happened in the beginning of that, but then there's, you know, obviously there's different levels of everything. So, and I think
He explains in some of the other recordings, like, the process of how those parties work. He gave very detailed descriptions, saying that it would start out relatively tame, and as time went on, and people left, he said it would go on for days sometimes, where they'd be at a specific location, and then as certain people left who maybe weren't in that inner circle, they would eventually, and that's the same way Diddy parties were described too. Exactly, Crown. Like, they had the main big party, and maybe there was a little bit of, you know, drugs and other stuff going on, but not like illegal abusive stuff. That came later, after everybody left, or everybody that wasn't in that circle.
to some degree, the people that were waiting there to the end of the party, I mean, they're using all of those other big names and stuff that may have done things that they're not proud of as cover.
Yeah.
You know, it couldn't have possibly happened at this party because, hey, you know, everybody and their brother was at that party.
Well, I think they were and I think they were probably trying to get information on all of those attendees and sort of to use as a protective blackmail layer regarding the more depraved torture and murder of American children.
Yeah.
Did you ever, in those years, see anyone other than American children? Yeah, okay. Let me ask you.
Yeah, I did a video about the whole Roy Cohn situation, and how, and the parties at the Plaza Hotel, and how he had that whole thing wired up, and that he learned essentially about blackmail from Roy Cohn, and learned about how powerful of a tool it could be. And it's very interesting with him meeting Epstein, because they both had a background in that. Epstein through Ghislaine's spy background with her family, and then Trump with his Roy Cohn connection.
Another question. Now, something I think just contextually and just more to get a sense. I know it's not what you would want to swear in a Bible because your recollection is unclear, but you talked about that there are individuals that you thought might have been involved, that you saw at parties that had assaulted you. Are you okay to talk about some of those individuals? Now, I'm asking specifically to get more context, but specifically, especially in terms of how we're looking at proceeding prosecutorially. I want to make sure we're talking to the right folks, especially considering how many folks did attend some of those bigger parties before this whittled down to the hardcore torturers.
I've really kind of shared the people that I have a clear recollection of. The rest of it just kind of melds together into something that I can't verbalize well enough to make an accusation in any direction.
Yeah.
And for some of that type of stuff, you just kind of just go off into another place. There's really no other way I can describe it.
Yeah.
So I mean, you deal with the aftermath, but as far as the actual incidents, most of them are blurred out.
And you said in terms of the parties with the girls with the brothels that when they didn't come back, that they were sort of sold. They were told that the girls had gone on to the mansion or to maybe somewhere a mansion overseas to kind of live out their dreams. But in cases, the girls were either tortured and beat to death at the parties or sometimes shot.
Yes.
And what would you say was the average age of the girls there?
I was looking through this just now, and this claims that there is a record of the court-martial of the soldier that Sascha served with that apparently had that material that he was on. And one of the victims, Samantha, who was later murdered because of the film's popularity. The film was produced within the Trump, Epstein, and Associated Enterprises several years earlier. So that might be something in the audio files that we end up checking out tomorrow.
If I had to guess an average, I'd say 13.
13.
Right, a couple maybe a year or two younger, a bunch of them around that age, and by a bunch, I don't think there was ever more than 5 or 6 there at a time. But even in the short time that I was there, it was Samantha was the only one that was there when I had gotten there, I think.
Yeah.
So.
And you said 5 at a time at the brothel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Something like that.
And then at the parties, when it was just like the 8 or 10 of the more depraved pedophiles, how many kids at the parties then?
Just maybe a couple.
A couple, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So 8 to 10 adults and 2 or 3 children.
Mm-hmm.
And you said the adults would vary party to party, but some of the adults were similar, or the adults were different party to party.
There were cases that that I saw more than once, and in being able to recognize people, I've given all the ones that I really kind of recognize.
Yeah.
But you would get a sense of who was more safe than others.
Yeah. Yeah, my sense is that how the sort of organizationally structured is that there were sort of satellite setups, that there was more use of the smaller airports and even the smaller planes to transport, and there was use of private investigators to recruit and then get intel, even kidnap and then silence victims, and that they did use the bigger parties to provide sort of criminal cover for the more targeted parties, and that they tried to keep a tight lid on the targeted parties in terms of the number of pedophile participants and the number of children per party in terms of victims.
Right.
And there could have been other locations, like you said, you didn't experience awareness of, where the perpetrators would target different victims in different locations, 2 or 3 at a time.
I'm sure that they had, I don't know, it was almost, looking back on it, it was pretty well organized. So
yeah,
it would be hard for me to believe that it was only happening in that one place. I never went to a different place that I can recall, but yeah.
And sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, it's okay.
And do you have any sense of where, like, you said there was lots of farms, different locations, but were you taken more often to one specific farm that you seem to remember more? Is that correct?
No, there was one in Tennessee that I went to a couple of times, and then another one in Alabama a couple of times, and then I can't really remember specifics other than those 4.
Yeah.
And then one let's see, we went back to that one. That was those 2 times. Yeah, that's really all I have much of a recollection of. I know that I attended more things than just that. It's just that as far as the specifics go,
Yeah, in terms of
it's
locations.
hard. Yeah, it's their old memories too. Some of them go back, like 9 years old.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'm asking a bit, like I say, in terms of like
They should have cut the silence out of here.
figuring out sort of simply in terms of finding the right prosecutorial support and in terms of carefulness of us getting those copies of those reports. Like it's sort of a weird chicken and the egg thing in terms of like, some of the police departments, they'd want to look at copies of reports, but we want to get those copies of those reports safely without triggering anything in terms of United States surveillance.
Well, all I can do is ask them. Like if I'm being watched, then they're going to see what I do. But I don't know. I can't really worry about it anymore,
No,
to be
you
honest.
can't. You can't. I mean, what's your sense in terms of what's really right for you?
I have no idea, to be honest. Yeah, I'm kind of curious. I want to go up there and get that police report, and if I'm able to get that, then I'm excited to try to get the next thing. But I just have to make some headway somewhere.
Yeah, well, let's just go report by report, and I'll figure out. I know that there's a bunch in terms of Freedom of Information Act requests. I want to talk.
So this is just them talking about how they're going to figure out how to get those records from the government that confirm his story about how the person that he was stationed with in the army had that video that he was in. That I guess it's been 2-3 months since then. So I'll have to look into it and see if there have been any updates since then. I probably would have seen it on that thread, but things started to pop off with this story this week for a reason. I'm still not sure why, especially because this was in November that this was published. I'm really surprised that it wasn't at least all over social media. But like I said, because of the extreme nature of the accusations, people probably afraid to share it. I think also he has kind of been getting onto social media. I think he's on Threads. I'm not sure if he's on Twitter, but he's been reposting these old Facebook messages. So this will be a big one to look into. There's a lot of parts with it because there's all these audio files, and then there's kind of tracking down what has happened since the audio, and then trying to figure out some of the people connected to this and things like that. But he gave her many hours of very serious very serious testimony. It's wild. It's really wild. You never know. You never know how sadistic people are. Especially with some of the other stories we've been hearing popping out of this, throwing kids into the river and all sorts of wild shit. I'm not sure about Mr. Faree. He lost me a little bit, but I'm sure he overheard Trump talking about some wild shit in the limo, though. I'm sure that definitely happened. But yeah, I think that it might be all I got for right now. Yeah, I gotta dig into this a little bit more, find some more sources, and then we'll check out those other leads and dig into the audio files tomorrow. Yeah, I'm hoping, and also some of this should be confirmed in the documents that come out if they ever come out. But it is a wild situation we're in. It's obvious that he's doing all of this crazy shit, from the crazy foreign policy to deploying troops on the streets to push people away from this. And then with the reaction that he got in that walkthrough he did of the Ford plant today, it just shows that it's a sore subject for him, and the whole country pretty much agrees about this. This is one of the few things, except for his direct cult, but like even the independents that supported him are like done on this Epstein shit. and it's obvious that he is seriously implicated, not just as a client, but as a facilitator. Yeah, I saw some other things about the Paulo guy that works with him, but some other connections that he has that I need to look into. But yeah, if anybody finds any other stories that I should dig into, let me know. Find me on my socials that are listed on my YouTube channel, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Peace.